Well, we have our first guest. Are you
Oh,
ready? I'm going to bring him in and I'm
all
going to let you
right.
do the intro.
Excellent.
I'm
Excellent.
excited about him. He's our first token man.
He's our first token man. And
Here we
there's
go.
Richard Leveille. So, Richard Leveille is Chief Development Officer for Painting with a Twist. In his prior role, Richard worked as CDO with Lost Cajun. He was also VP of Development with Floor Coverings International, VP of Development for Smoothie King, where he was the first employee and was there for 25 years. He has a passion for proper placement of units, real estate basically, where he has a distinct knowledge of site selection tactics, GIS software, and site modeling analytics. While active in the International Council of Shopping Centers, he held the position of State of Louisiana Retail Chair, and he's also a CFE with the International Franchise Association. So Richard has 4 kids, and he is an accomplished saxophonist, playing in several jazz groups in New Orleans whenever there's time, and it permits him to do that. So welcome to Where Passion and Purpose Collide, where our audience is largely women, and today you are our token man. Welcome, Richard.
It's great to be here, and thanks for having me, Rebecca and Elizabeth. So excited to be here and to be a token man. I'm not sure what that means, but hopefully I can fit the bill and deliver the goods today. I'm excited to be here. You know what else I'm excited about? Just the whole title of this show, where passion meets purpose. And that's just such a great thing in franchising, because if I've always felt that, you have to have a reason to be in business that's larger than just making money.
Agreed.
We all want to make money and we need to make money, but more importantly, we have a desire. And people ask me all the time, well, why don't you just go open up your own business? Or why don't you buy one of those great franchises you're peddling? And I talk to them about how taking somebody who was, with IBM for 30 years, or worked a dead-end job for so many years, or inherited his mother's money and wants to do something good with it, and having that kind of responsibility, that's business ownership for me. That's the purpose of helping people, and then watching them grow and become successful, and then becoming part of their family and meeting their kids when they have kids. And watching their kids go, you get to do that in franchising. So it's such a big family. It's not just this small family we have here through the IFA and our friends and family. It's the entire franchise network. And it's just an amazing opportunity in life to be able to do that.
I love the point you made about legacy and having a purpose, and business ownership is more than just about profit. And that really is the purpose of this show, where purpose and passion collide. So speaking about this family thing, you were the first employee for Smoothie King, and you were there for 25 years, and now it has over 1,100 units. So tell us about that and how that felt to be part of that growth process from the inside.
Cool. Yeah. Smoothie King is a great company. It's got a great product, and it was driven, and its whole purpose was to give people a healthy alternative to fast food. And, because the fast food industry is, primarily junk food industry. It's not very good for you. So the founder of that company, Steve Kuno, created a product that started the whole smoothie industry. People don't know this, but his first unit opened up in 1973. I was in elementary school. Y'all probably weren't even born yet.
Elizabeth.
And he created this smoothie that just started a whole industry of companies, and it was an amazing ride. I was very fortunate. I was actually a music student. We'll probably talk music in a little bit, but I was a music student at Loyola University in New Orleans, studying jazz saxophone. And I guess I had a bit of an entrepreneur flair, and I started my own business selling point of sale systems. So I had a little bit of computer not background, but hobby. And I created this point of sale platform that was based on, believe it or not, an Atari computer. And it worked really, really well. And I had it in one music store there locally, and I started my own business called Total Control Computing. And I put together my sales book and my kit, and I was all ready. And my first appointment was with Steve Kuno, the guy who started Smoothie King. And he brought me into his office, and I think he canceled on me the first appointment. I just realized that. I hadn't thought about that. I think he canceled on me. The second appointment, I went up to his office, and I pitched him. And then he said to me, and this is what I live for today. Then he says, you know, that looks really, really good. Have you ever had a smoothie before? And I said, no. And he said, do you take supplements, vitamin supplements? And I said, no, not really. So he took me down into his original store. It was called Town and Country Health Foods. And he went behind the counter and he made me a smoothie. And then he walked over to the area of the store that was the retail area that had 4,000 different health supplements in it. And he said, I need your system because I need to keep track of all this stuff. I want to franchise this business one day.
Wow.
And and that's kind of how it started. He started pulling things off the shelf and just giving them to me because I was a potential new customer. And that was his passion. You know, his purpose was to make people healthier and give them a better lifestyle. And that's what he did to me. And then, you know, 650 stores or something later, Steve sold the company. And it was an amazing ride because Steve didn't know anything about franchising. His wife, Cindy Kuno, didn't know anything about franchising, but they were just very good entrepreneurs. They had good common sense, and they cared about people. And that's an element in franchising that has to be present. You got to care about people, and not just your franchisees, but their customers, and giving them a purpose and being able to take your purpose and transfer it to them so that they can go change the world like you did. You know, it's an amazing opportunity. The company sold, and I guess it's been about 6 or 7 or 8 years now. I can't remember. I honestly, when I left Smoothie King after being there for 25 years, I thought it was the end of the world. You know, it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? There's life after any company, right? And I've had an amazing, you know, life since. But my heart is always truly with Smoothie King, and I hope that every one of those franchisees that I brought on board or any of the team brought on board while I was there is successful, and I love to watch the success of that company. And I love to just go back and remember it was all just that one smoothie that Steve Kuno created that created a huge industry evolving around that.
They do, and they have such passion. My middle son worked at Smoothie King for about 1.5 years through high school.
Yeah.
And I interviewed his boss, who's the franchisee in Daphne, Alabama, and she is so passionate. And he became passionate, and they spread it to they have a lot of teenagers that work there, and a lot of them are athletes because they're into the healthy lifestyle and healthy eating and the stuff and that kind of thing. And he knew every single customer. The nurse who operated on my ankle, I said something about my son at Smoothie King, and she said, "Is your son Luke?" Well, he knows my order, and he has it ready for me when he sees me pull around. I mean, so the atmosphere and the passion that you're talking about is still filtering all the way down to when my son was 16, 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we were talking about originally is some of those franchisees that we brought on in the first, you know, I started there in 1989. In the first 5 years, you know, I'm still good friends with those people. And if I show up at their city, I'm going to give them a call, and they're going to tell me about their kid who just graduated from college, or just became a doctor, or their grandchildren. And, you know, they had just had small children when I first met them because it's been 35 years now. And it's a great ride and a great experience to have that. It's awesome to be able to go to almost any city in the United States and have somebody to call. And then have them say, hey, come over to dinner tonight. You know, it's just that's a beautiful gift that I was given. I was given to it by Steve Kuno because he believed in me. I was a jazz saxophone player. I don't know what he was doing. And actually, let me just finish the story real quick. So he said, I want that system, Richard, but I don't have anybody to run it. Do you think you would come run it for me for a couple months to see how it goes? And if it goes great, I'll help you grow your business, and maybe you can help me grow my business. You know, so 2 months later, I found myself in the franchising business. And we were very fortunate. There was a local attorney in New Orleans. His name was Burgess McCraney. And he kind of sowed his oats on the Popeye system and, you know, Copeland brands and Al Copeland, and a tremendous amount of experience there. And at one point, he was the chairman of the board of the International Franchise Association. So he was a big wig in franchising, and he probably one of the guys who wrote one of the first franchise documents. And he kind of mentored us a little bit in the beginning and helped us out. And had not it been for him, we probably would have made even more mistakes than we actually made. Because we made a lot. We learned from him. But it was a great ride, and Smoothie King now has over 1,100 units. We had sold to one of our master franchisees in Korea. We had opened up 100 units in Korea. The franchisee was really a great guy, loved franchising, loved sports and nutrition and helping people, and had a great family behind him. And he said to us, he says, you know what, Korea's been so successful, I've opened up 100 units. They were doing really, really well. I'd like to open up units in China and Japan. He listed 5 different countries. So we put together this amazing deal for him to go take those other 5 countries and do a master franchise relationship there. And he quickly realized that with the amount of fees he was going to pay us over a few years, he could just buy us.
By the company.
And it was time, and the founders decided to sell him the company. And then he's taken it to the next level, which is a beautiful thing.
Wow.
Well, you are now with Painting with a Twist, and that's going to lead us into our discussion about being a man in a female-dominated franchise system. But why don't you give us a little background on how you came on to Painting with a Twist and what you're doing, and then we'll jump into the meat of it.
Okay, if I choose my words carefully.
Wise man.
Now, actually, you know, I have always had, you treat people, whether they're female or male, the same. You know, you have a certain set of core values in your heart and your mind, and regardless of who the company is in the room, you want to treat them with respect, and you want to develop trust with them, and you know, you want to do what you say. But let me say this: if you tell a lady that's very proud of her business, that's worked extremely hard for what she has and what she's done and her accomplishments, you're going to do something for her, and you don't get it done, you better be ready to pay the wrath of it. So there's a great level of accountability in an organization that is primarily women. Now we have roughly 25 employees, and 80% of them are female. And,
wow.
and they're fantastic. I mean, they are amazing because they focus on the issues. And guys like to sit and chat and go fishing and have a drink and you know, tell stories, and I'm sure ladies do the same type of thing. But the ladies in our organization have built a culture around accountability, and you know, really focused on helping the franchisees, caring more than any organization I've ever seen. Our mission statement is to create, Painting with a Twist creates a carefree escape for ladies, you know, looking to unplug. And that's what we do. If you've not ever been to a Painting with a Twist, Painting with a Twist is a great place to grab a couple of your friends, a bottle of wine or whatever you drink, show up and have 2 to 3 hours of put your cell phone away. Don't worry about what's happening in the world. Unplug. We say unplug from the daily grind. You know, life is hard. There's a lot of responsibility that we all have, men and females. And we want to, at times, turn our cell phone off. I usually do that when I play golf. So when I play golf, cell phone goes in the bag, and the first time I look at it is the end of my game. And I try to resist. I try to resist looking at it, but it's so hard. But it's the end of my game. But we encourage people that come to Painting with a Twist, and they come with groups. You know, it could be Elizabeth and Rebecca and their 2 high school buddies, and they come over and they paint. I have a good friend. His name's Gary, and I guess I shouldn't have said his name. But Gary recently lost his job, and he had worked for this one company for a lot of years. And he was feeling kind of down. He's a great guy. He'll find another job and everything will be fine. But I said, look, Gary, let's get together. I haven't seen you. He was my first college roommate. I haven't seen you in a few years. Let's get together. And I grabbed him and we went to Painting with a Twist.
Oh.
And we turned our cell phones off and we started drinking wine, and we went on a date night. So there was mostly couples. It was all couples in the room.
Mhm.
I think some thought we were a couple. But we weren't.
Romance.
They probably did.
Some romance going on.
But we unplugged from all of our challenges in life and talked about old times and friends and family and things that we do. We're both musicians, so we talked about music, and we just had a killer time. And that's what Painting with a Twist provides women with, that want to unplug from that daily grind, is this carefree escape. So it's a great concept, and it was founded, and I have to say, by Renee and Kathy, very well known in the franchise industry. They did a fantastic job building the foundation, especially the early foundation of this company.
Yeah.
So they were rule followers. Somebody at once gave them a checklist, and they followed exactly. You can't go to a file that doesn't have every piece in it. Because they were that type of person, and they just developed a great system with great people, and they took a concept that really nobody knew it was a concept and turned it into a franchise business. And they didn't know what they had. They were really just trying to make some money to go on a vacation or so. I can't remember the exact story, but they were like, we just want to make a little spending money so we can spend it. And they did a whole lot more than that. They changed a lot of people's lives.
And that's exactly what Painting with a Twist does. You made several good points I wanted to highlight, and that was this whole idea as a man working with women founders and the women-dominated employees, and then also women clients. The founders saw this as their baby, right? And we hear that frequently. When a founder creates something, it's their baby, and it's hard to turn it over to someone. And it was interesting that you recognize that, and that instinct to protect our baby, especially as women entrepreneurs. So I thought that was really fascinating. And then getting to work with at corporate with mostly women, founders that were women, Nancy Bigley, a leader, a woman, and then tending to those special needs that women have for community and coming together and de-stressing and having meaningful relationships and conversations in an environment where they can be so creative. It's got to be fulfilling for you. But are there also any challenges that you have found working with primarily women? Okay, what about blessings? Give me the blessings.
Yeah. Well, it feels like a loaded question, but really it's not, because I think women have to adapt when they're working in male-dated industries, and men have to adapt when they're working in female. So there's no criticism or judgment in the question, just so you know.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
No, I appreciate that, and this is a real tough question to answer.
Yeah.
Because every woman in my office, including the founders, will watch this podcast one day. So whatever I do say will live,
it'll live forever.
It'll live with me forever. So no, but I'll say this, that women, as I mentioned, there's not a lot of fluff with women. They kind of they see through the BS that most men are filled with, and they have radar and a keen sense of their ability to see people for what they really are, a little bit more than I've found men do. I oftentimes like, well, yeah, I didn't like what he said, but yeah, he's a cool guy. Let's get it done. They don't mess around like that. I've found they seem to be much more serious about business, and part of it is that they go home and they have to take care of their children. And they go home and they have responsibilities to their families and so forth. So when they're in the office, they're very focused on business.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some women. You mentioned Nancy Bigley, and another one, Catherine LeBlanc, are kind of the two executives.
Mm-hmm.
I learn from them every day. They are just extremely passionate and energetic. Catherine is just her mind spends. She gets more done in a day than I get done in a week. I hate to admit that.
That's because women can multitask.
But I think it's true. She's amazing. And Nancy has so much passion and care for the franchisees and the operations staff that reports to her that franchisees see that. And they get it and they understand it and they feel good, because it's all about trust. People don't have to become a franchisee. They don't have to sign the renewal document that's fixing to come up. They don't need to operate these businesses as much. Many of our franchisees they've already been successful. They do this because they love it. They're really into the passion of the business and the purpose of the business. I ask every franchisee that I meet, why did you become a franchisee in Painting with a Twist? It helps me understand what we're out there getting people to enroll in. And they all say, we fell in love with the purpose. We fell in love with Kathy and Renee, the founders, and we just wanted to be a part of it. So it's a very passion-driven organization.
I actually love your answer that you said women are very focused at work because they want to be able to get home and do their other things as well. I have heard a lot of people say that being a mother or having children at home or all those things are negative. But what you're doing is saying that it's a positive because they focus what they are doing where they are, and then they go home and they focus on that, are intentional about it. So I think you did a good job on the answer.
You did okay?
We're good.
I approve.
You passed.
I truly do love working around a lot of ladies. They hold me accountable. Sometimes I ask them, just tell me what to do. And I did that yesterday with one. Just tell me what to do.
Point me in the right direction.
Just get it done. Give me some direction, and I'll get it done for you. We've got a great team. Joe Lewis is our CEO and president of the company, and Joe has as much passion for helping people than any person I've ever met, and he's got great integrity. And we always do the right thing for our franchisees. And here's a perfect example. And I know we'll probably talk about the pandemic and the challenges that we're having. But we've been very, very fortunate to make certain that we were in a position that we haven't had to lay anybody off or make any changes to our corporate staff. Some of my friends that work in large franchise organizations, some of them with over 100 employees, have been faced with furloughing and laying off of 60 and 70 and 80%. One friend of mine was 95% of their staff they laid off. Yeah. During this epidemic, and yeah, it's tough. We went from having January and February were two of the best months that we've had since this executive staff has been in this organization, and really leading into a great 2020 to absolutely zero revenue. Wow. And it's hard to have a company that has 25 employees, many of them well paid. We have great people in our organization. And then have the responsibility to hit that payroll number every month, every 2 weeks, and be able to do that.
Yeah. You all did a lot of pivoting, though. I know we talked to you before, and you were telling us some of the things that you did to innovate and pivot your business so that you were still able to bring in revenue. Tell us a few things that you guys have done to combat not having a retail space open.
Well, at first we went into expense reduction mode. So how can we limit the expenses that a studio owner has, and really get into that mode. So we worked with their landlords to help them renegotiate their leases, or get some relief, deferment, or abatement, or some time to pay that money back. And we're still doing that. It's an ongoing, everyday thing. And then we looked at every line item in their chart of accounts and where can we reduce the expenses, and we gave them advice on doing that. We did something that really brought our franchisees together, and we hear this all the time, that this pandemic has brought more people together than ever before, which is a great thing. And we have 3 o'clock calls every day. Now we have pared them down a little bit. But we were doing them 7 days a week when this thing first started happening. And so all those franchisees on a Zoom call, 170, 180 people on the call at one time, all talking and shared experiences, and us giving them good direction, really thinking through. Nancy Bigley has shared that very, very well. Working with our franchisees, we went to working with our franchisees on how to get the proper loan and government assistances that are available to them. You know, we huddled up in groups with franchisees to talk about how to handle this. We did individual calls with franchisees so we could look at exactly their cash positions. And we told them what to spend money on and what not to spend money on. And then from the product revenue side, because we no longer could have anybody in our studios. We were a non-essential business. We had to figure out how to make some money. So our marketing team and our operations team got together and just innovated. They did, you know, they created products in 3 and 4 days that you would normally spend, you know, 6 to 9 months testing, developing relationships with vendors to support you, and marketing packages to roll it out. And we rolled things out quick. We developed a twist at home curbside pickup kit. Come by the studio, we'll have a nice bag in front of it with your name on it. Grab it. Inside of it, you've got a canvas, and you've got paint, and you've got paint brushes, and you have a disposable apron, and you have instructions on how to paint that particular painting. And you can log on to a video production site and be with an artist, or potentially even have enrolled into a virtual class. So you can be with other people painting. So we pivoted that way, and that was a way for our franchisees to immediately get some revenue. And we developed that product in just 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
And roll it out to our franchisees as fast as possible. You know, urgent calls. We got to get you. You got to hear this. You got to be able to do this. And our franchisees jumped on it and ran with it. But then things got even tighter in our country here, and we could not even go into the studio. You know, completely non-essential business, no employees. You can't have anybody coming in at all, especially in areas like Detroit, Philadelphia, New York, where we had a lot of presence of studios. You know, Florida was kind of do whatever you want for a long time. But it took them a while to really catch on to what the rest of the country was doing. And so we had to create another product, which was a ship-to-home product. So hop on our Shopify website, and you can order some kits, and they'll be delivered to your home in 3 to 5 days. And they'll have 3 or 4 canvases, so the whole family can paint together. And you can schedule or just log on and have a virtual assistant that will lead you through the experience. So we said, hey, you can create a carefree escape in our studio, but we can also create a carefree escape at your home, or your workplace, or wherever you may be. Maybe you're hunkered down at your grandma's house. You know, I hear a lot of people went back home.
Of course, we always go home when there's pain.
They went back home, and a lot of people are doing that, and they're looking for things to do. And we've been one of those things that they can do. And you know what? We sold thousands and thousands and thousands of them.
I love it.
Great.
So Richard, to that point, we need to wrap up, and I could talk with you like for hours and hours and hours, especially about something so creative and passionate. But how would people get hold of you that are interested in painting with a twist, or even if they're home and they want to order some of these things? How would they get hold of you?
Yeah, well, if they go to our website, paintingwithatwist.com, they can see everything that we offer. They can see now a lot of our studios are starting to reopen. It's really exciting. It's really exciting to actually, after 90 days of only writing checks, to actually make a deposit. So some of our franchisees have been able to make a deposit, so we're excited about that. Some states are still tightly locked down, but some of them are starting to open up, and we're seeing great demand. We're scheduling limited classes, limited size, where normally we'd have 40. We may be only scheduling the class for 12, and they're selling out. So we're seeing some examples of that, so we're excited. But Painting with a Twist will, and we've launched a new web. You know, during this pandemic, we launched a brand new consumer website. So that's been exciting. We said, what better time to test it out when there's not as much traffic? And that's helped us a lot too. So if you go there, you can see the closest Painting with a Twist to you. You can see the different schedule classes that we have, events we call them, because it's not a class. It's not like you're going to an instruction type class. It's an event, it's a party, it's a celebration. So you can do it that way too. And you can hop from there to our franchise website, or hop from there to our Twist at Home website, where you can have product shipped directly to your home.
Excellent.
Excellent is right. We are so happy to have you as our first token man, Richard. You handled it like a champ.
Yes, you did.
Gave good answers. So we appreciate your time. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again soon.
Hey, it was an honor to be here. It's an honor to be part of the world of franchising and to have the opportunity to make a difference in so many people's lives. I'm blessed every day. And here's just another example of it. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Great.
Richard.